Hi guys, welcome to the channel. I hope you all are doing well, and let me warn you, today's video is gonna be long. It's about areas and there's so many formulas to remember, but we'll do that well, don't worry. Yes, let's begin. Areas. I like explaining what a topic means before going into it, so you have an idea of what you're learning, why are you learning that. So for areas, it's actually, well, the surface of an object. For example, you have a book, okay? So area is the dimension, okay, multiplied by the other dimension to get the space covered by an object, okay? And now let's begin. So let's start with a shape like this, okay? This is a square, okay? You have side, you have side, you have side, and you have side, okay? To get the area, okay, for perimeters, we had to add all of them, but for area we need to multiply one side by the other, okay? It's like side times side, okay? So it's just like what can I use as an example for you? So for example, you have this notebook right here, okay? So you take this multiplied by this, okay? Instead of adding all of these, you just need to take this times this to get the area, okay? So it will tell you how much space the book needs, okay? Not okay. Area is differentiated by volume because okay, area will tell you only how much space one one surface requires, while volume will tell you how much space the whole book requires, how much space the whole book occupies. But area will just tell you how much space does the surface occupy. For example, you keep this book on top of a table, okay? How much space will it take on the table, okay? Not how much space it will occupy in air. Now let's dive in. So to get it, we take one side multiplied by the other side, as I showed you using the book. So the area of a square is equal to side times side, and if you have seen my video of squares, you must be knowing that it can further be simplified to be written as side square. So area of a square is equal to side square. Now let's use a rectangle. You have 10 here and let's say 3 here, okay? And 10 again here, 3 again here, because it's a rectangle, so this and this will be equal, while this and this will be equal. So area of a rectangle, as we saw above, you multiply one side by the other. So you multiply one side by the other, two different sides. Don't multiply 10 by 10. Do not multiply opposite side. Caution, do not multiply opposite sides. Rather, multiply adjacent sides. So 10 times 3. But 10, one of them is length and the other is width. Okay? So area of a rectangle is equal to length times width. Now you know how to find the area of a square. Now you know how to find the area of a rectangle. Let's move on to a triangle. Oh my god, this has 3 sides, no opposite sides. No, how will we know? So the area of a triangle is kind of different from the area of a square and a rectangle, because you can see these have 4 dimensions, this has only 3. It's a completely different shape, okay? So to begin with the triangle, first you look at the dimensions. So first you have the base, okay? And then you can put in this here, which is the height, okay? Now area of a triangle. So base times height. These are two dimensions. You know how tall is the triangle and how what the base is. Okay, but then because you're gonna use this as well, you multiply it by a half. Okay, because if you have a triangle like this and you have a triangle like this, the area will still be the same. Half times base times height. It can also be written as BH over 2. As long as you know that B is for the base, the down part, and H is for the height, which is right here. Okay? Remember this. It's kind of important to remember all the formulas of area because they usually recur. And I'm sure you don't want to get them wrong. They're really easy. You do not have to miss them in your exams. Yes. So now let's go to the area of a parallelogram. Have you heard of the shape before? You might have. So a parallelogram is basically not very different from a square and a rectangle. It's actually the same. This multiplied by this, still length times width, just like the one of a rectangle. No difference. You can easily do that. And okay, so the next thing we're going to do is look for the area of this shape here. This is a trapezium, in case you haven't seen it before. It consists of a rectangle and two triangles, or it can also be like this, with one rectangle and one triangle. So a trapezium is usually, okay, given by area of a trapezium is equal to A plus B over 2 times height. That's how you find the area of a trapezium. Now, what is A, what is B, what is 2, and I mean, what is height and where does the 2 come from? So if you remember, this is a triangle, right? And in a triangle, we have half times base times height. So that's where the divide by 2 comes from. It's the concept of triangle. And A is this one here. B is this one. So what it basically does is, it just adds up both of these sides multiplied by the height. Okay, so this is the height, and divide by 2, which is because of the triangle. So this is the area of trapezium. Whether it's like this or like this, the formula remains the same. Okay, we are going to solve some questions of a trapezium once I'm done with irregular shapes. So all of the ones that we did above were regular shapes, and now let's move on to an irregular shape. Let's use this. Okay, okay, so now we have 3 here, 3 here, 9 here, and 12 here. How are you going to find the area of this? That's a really weird shape, isn't it? So to do that, if you look at it, doesn't it resemble something? Isn't there any resemblance with a shape that is one of the regular shapes? Try to think. What if we add an imaginary line here? Doesn't it look like a rectangle? Yes, it does. And how to find the area of a rectangle? Length times width. So now we have width, that is 12, okay, because it's a rectangle now, so this will be equal to this. So we have 12 now because we've used this already. Let's circle it. And now length. So we have the length, that is 9, and this will also be equal to 9, okay, because it's a rectangle and both sides would be equal. So area of a rectangle is equal to 9 times, area of this rectangle is equal to 9 times 12, that is equal to 108 units. That's how you find areas of irregular shapes. You use imaginary lines to make it look like one of the regular shapes, okay, the closest regular shape you can think of. Not all shapes will turn into rectangles. Some might turn into triangles, some might turn into let's say squares, yeah, some might turn into trapeziums, parallelograms. They don't have to be rectangles for you to be able to solve them. So let's look at some examples. This is a square, okay, with side 0.5 meter. Okay, to find the area of the square, we know the area of a square is found by s square, side square, that is equal to side times side. Remember, squares and square roots. It's easy. If you haven't watched my video, please do go watch it on my channel. It's really helpful, and after that you will easily be able to solve questions like this. Okay, so now you have side times side. You know the side is 0.5, so you just substitute is equal to area of the square. 0.5 times 0.5, easy peasy, 0.25. Just for your highlight, 0.5, 0.5, 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, and then because there are two decimal points, you just count 1, 2, and you put a decimal point here, so it's going to be 0.25. So that's your area. Because you had meters, okay, and meter times meter is going to be meter square, so the units of area are always squared, because it's like you're multiplying a unit times 2. Okay, so meter times meter is equal to meter square. Remember this concept. Any unit multiplied by itself becomes square. Now let's look at our rectangle. Area of a rectangle. Area of a rectangle can be found by, let's say, if this is 15 feet, okay, and this is 6 feet. Okay, so area of a rectangle is equal to length times width. Fine. And because you know this already, you can just substitute by 15 times 6. Both are feet, and feet times feet is squared feet. Okay, and then where's 15 times 6? Let's just do it right here. 30, 90. So 90 squared feet. You have your answer right there. Now let's look at a triangle with 3, 4, and 5. No units, you can just decide for yourself. So if you have this, we know that the area of a triangle is equal to half times base times height, equal to a half. Half is a constant, it does not change no matter what triangle it is. The base is the one down, so 4, and the height is this one. The height is how tall the triangle is, it's times 3. You do not need this, just ignore it. Okay, so the only things you need is the base and the height. How tall is the triangle and the base of the triangle. If you go solve this will simplify. So now we have 2 times 3 times 1, that is 6. The area of a triangle is 6 squared units. Okay, guys, so this was all for today. For your own examples or for your own help, you can save these. Just take a screenshot or pause and write them down and solve them. So you can write the answers in the comment section below, and I'll help you if you need any help. If you need private tutoring classes, contact me at foreignlearn@gmail.com. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe. Have a good day, guys. Bye.